Yo, what up, it's your man HeadKrack, and I'm tapping in with the Gumbo Show. I'm over here at the Record Loft, about to look for some vinyl, some classics. I heard they got them all here. Come shop with me, let's go.
Hey, what's going on, you guys? You know what it is. We are back right here at the Record Loft. Shout out to you guys for letting us be here and allowing us to conduct our interviews here. Make sure you guys take a trip to the Record Loft when we're here or when we're not and tap in and see what they have. I'm here today, of course, with HeadKrack, as seen on TV. That's what they say about you. As seen on TV.
It's weird how that works. That is where I'm seeing.
Well, I pulled him from TV, and he's in the building with us today. First question that I usually always ask is like, tell people who you are, but people kind of know who you are. But there's some people that may not know who you are. So
people think I'm a little boy from John Q.
Tell everybody who you are.
So my journey started with radio, but I'm a hip hop head. So, you know, it was the love of the culture and the music that really brought me into all different facets of entertainment that I occupy. Like, you know, I wanted to get into radio so I could break artists and play people who I thought was dope from the city. So when I first started doing radio, it was in Dallas, Texas. Was doing a night show. And back then, like, we had so much more freedom because it wasn't as corporate controlled as it is now. So, and we had a PD who was like a visionary. Shout out to Daryl Johnson. He was like, yo, if you find something dope, play it. And we was doing that. We had like #1 rated night show, and then the show started getting popping. Anytime something gets popping, more hands come in, and start like, yo, let's meddle with everything. And you know, but then graduated from that to doing morning radio. Then was with Ricky Smiley. Then we're syndicated. Then we moved to Atlanta. Then that turns into a TV show. But the whole time I'm in the background doing music though. But people saw me doing all the other stuff so frequently they didn't see the music all the time. They would hear me maybe freestyle on the radio every now and then, but that was really what my passion was.
Yeah, I remember you freestyling, always killing it every time. How does the love for radio, television differ from the love of hip hop and artistry?
I love radio and television because I make a lot of money doing it. I love hip hop because it makes me happy. You know what I mean?
I love that.
But the upside of radio and TV, it also makes me happy too. But I just don't like the politics that came with radio because, you know, it's one thing when, you know, like I said, when we was doing nights, we had the ability to just kind of do whatever you want. Then when you get on a syndicated morning show, you have more people that have an opinion on what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could be #1 here, but #7 here, but you're doing the same show. And, you know, that type of bureaucracy made it a little bit frustrating because, like, hey, listen, at the end of the day, I'm a creative and I want to create. But what TV does is it takes that one-dimensionalness of just hearing your voice on the radio and puts it out there for the world to see. So when Dish Nation came along, it was a blessing because it allowed me to be able to be a representative of the hip-hop culture on TV across the country. Like, you know, there was very few people you could think about that had dreads that was on primetime TV like that. You know, maybe, what's my man? I mean, AJ from 106 in Park.
I was thinking him too.
You know what I'm saying? You know, alumni.
Just very few though.
Very few. You know, Sway had his dreads, but it was under the hood. You know, you didn't know what was going on. So
always in a bun, hood to the back.
Yeah, so like, you know, so for me to be able to represent and like be that guy that people identify with, that rock with the culture like that, that was always a blessing. So like TV made it fun. Radio was a job, but it was a job that I loved when I got to engage and serve the people the way I wanted to serve the people.
What was your first experience of like radio? Did you intern somewhere? Did you come straight out of high school and go to college for it? How did you get?
Well, my first real experience was I called in one time, WBLS in New York. And I just wanted to call and hear like a weird song off of like someone's album. And I was like the 9th caller. Well, probably the 107th caller because it was 107.5. You know, they always make it be the 107th call, whatever the call, whatever the number of the station is. And I ended up winning a Janet Jackson prize pack. And then I ended up winning a grand prize of $1,000. And I didn't even know I was in the running for that. I just wanted to hear Pimpin' Ain't Easy, but Big Daddy Kane ain't nice and smooth. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like, look how the universe worked out. And that showed me that, okay, people will answer the phone sometimes when you call. So when I moved from New York to Texas on a little bit more of a permanent basis, there was a station called 100.3 Jams, and they used to do this thing called the roll call, and they used to give away wild prizes, like a $100 gift card for Sound Warehouse. If you were born after 2000, you don't know what Sound Warehouse is. Yeah. The real ones know. But so, whoa, $100 at Sound Warehouse, that's like 10 tapes.
Yeah.
So I was calling all the time and battling people on the roll call, and it got to a point where it's like, hey, listen, we're not mailing you anything no more, come get it. So that put me in a position where I got to meet the people that worked at the radio station.
So you had to go up there and pick up your prize.
Yeah, and that was so valuable because now they put a face to the
With the
voice. And then when they would see me in the streets and stuff like that, I'd also learn witchcraft. I can make lights cut off and on like whenever I want. That's another thing I picked. I won that. That was the third time I called in. I won that. I can only do it once a day though. Like, so there's that.
I'm sorry. Hey, Will.
You're gonna keep that, right?
That is hilarious. I was wondering what was going on, and then I heard the thunder. I was like, okay. All right. My bad, y'all. That was
No
hilarious.
No problem.
Okay.
Please keep that.
That is so funny.
But yeah, so like, you know, on the strength of that, like, yeah, it showed me that it can be done. I got to meet people who would eventually advance my career even further when I went. Because like it could be such a long story, right? So when I got out of high school, ended up working at a record company. I was servicing records to different record radio stations and stuff like that. And then I started to notice that the record industry was starting to like get really weird. Big distribution companies were being absorbed by bigger distribution companies. So at that time, I'm working for Polygram, which had Def Jam, Motown, I think A&M at the time. And I'm like, ooh, they're about to get bought by Universal. Ooh, this is gonna probably keep happening. Mm-hmm. So I was like, let me look for a raft to float off on. Mm-hmm. And then a few years later, the radio opportunity came about where there was a new station that came to town. They had no DJs. Me and my homies went to the studio, made a tape, and we made it seem like this is a show that already exists and this is what it sounds like. And they loved the tape. And it's like, yo, that's HeadKrack. He used to call blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we need him. And on the strength of that, it made everything else pop off. So I think, you know, for anybody that's like watching this, the thing is, whatever you're doing in life, just keep showing up.
I love
and if
that.
you show up enough, eventually people will count you present, you know, and give you an opportunity.
Yeah, that is so true. It is so, so true. My last question before we jump into your mic drop with us is, for artists, so we have a lot of independent artists that follow our platform, that we work with daily, weekly, that just are really in tune with what we do, right? I think that one of the biggest misconceptions that artists have is that they think that, like, oh, if I meet this DJ that's on the radio, I can give them my stuff, they can just play it. Mm-hmm. Or, oh, if I send this music to the radio or I know a personality, they can just get up here and play the music. But you said something really interesting, like there's politics that goes into this, and they no longer have the ability to just take records and just play them like that, right?
Yeah.
What is that formula like for somebody that's an independent artist that may be trying to get their music on the radio?
Let me take my jacket off for this one.
Uh-oh!
Gumbo Radio.
It doesn't quite work that way. Mm-hmm. And there are some people who you can pay that will play your record for you just because you paid them. Mm-hmm. It might be one time, might be 27 times, but there's workarounds. Mm-hmm. I don't recommend that though, because the thing is, let's just say if you do something one time, it creates a habit or an expectation amongst other people. And every time you do something now, you got to come out of pocket to make certain things happen. And you don't want to create that environment to where you always have to pay to get your ball pushed forward. You know, there's ways you can do mutual favors for people to make it mutually beneficial to both people, but not necessarily always in a monetary space. And sometimes they don't want nothing from you. They just want your money, and you know, and you just got to kind of vet that relationship and see if it's worth it. A lot of DJs don't have the ability to play whatever they want, you know, unless it's in mix show. Some people got more mix show power than other people do. You know, like what my workaround was and I've never accepted money from anybody to play any record. If it was trash, it was trash. If I loved it. And like I would, you know, go all out of my way to at least even play like 30 seconds of a song. Almost to the point where sometimes I would get in trouble for it. But it's like, yo, listen, I know what I'm doing. I'm outside. You look at research. And research works up to a certain degree, but you ain't outside. You ain't with the real people.
Really like. Yeah.
Exactly. So I would always do my best to try to nudge people into the directions of dope artists that they weren't up on yet. Like imagine having to explain to people that no, Kendrick Lamar is the future. Really, he is.
Right.
And
it sounds absurd now, but at some point somebody was pleading that case. Like, you know what I mean?
Like I remember trying to play snippets of 3005 by Childish Gambino on the radio just so people get like, yo, there's this dope dude who like you seen him on the TV show Community, but he really rap. And now he don't rap as much. He kind of sings now. But at the time, he was really rapping. So, like, you know, I used to always try to figure out okay, cool, the door's locked, you can climb through this window. And that's always been a thing. And that's what you got to do as artists and independents. Radio isn't the end all be all, especially as it relates to terrestrial. You have beautiful digital platforms that you can jump on and get the same type of chart placement, same type of exposure, same type of media base and BDS plays as you can playing the big radio stations game. And like far and large, when you think about younger people, they ain't listen to the radio. They on
social media.
They on social media. They on whatever streaming platform they're stealing music from. They're on YouTube. So you got to work all those other corners. Yeah, if you're gonna spend money on anything, I'll say spend money on doing targeted ads towards your demographic, whether it be on YouTube, Spotify ads, all that other stuff, Pandora even. Because Pandora pays a lot of money, like per play. So if you can crack those algorithms by being consistent and showing up, that would probably be a lot more better than paying DJ such and such $3,000 to hit your record twice in a club.
Pay attention to this trend. If y'all go back and y'all watch the interview that we did, 3 years ago with Flawless Real Talk from Rhode Island from the Netflix show, he said the same thing. So I asked him about the artists and like what advice do you give to independent artists, and the thing that he said was whether it's $25, $50, $100, get the ads, put the ads behind yourself, because that's what's going to expand and help you get your streams and your distributions, all of that stuff. So definitely listen and take advantage, and even if it's like you said $25, $50, something is better than nothing. It's going to help you get a little bit more exposure. So what we're about to do right now, guys, is we're about to go into HeadKrack's mic drop. What song was that?
Probably rock For the Love.
For the Love?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do For the Love. So you guys are about to check out the mic drop with HeadKrack, and we'll be right back.
I'm going to put my jacket back on for this.
Yo, she made HeadKrack touch it down. For the record, shout out to Gumbo Radio Show, you know what I'm saying? We blasting off, man. A lot of classics up in here. This remind me of like my room if I was born in the 60s though. There's a lot of retro stories. I had Transformers and G.I. Joe, but I feel the love coming out of this room, and we gonna vibe out one time with this joint off of my project, Microdose. Let's go. Hey. I can't go too far because I'm really rapping. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, these are real vocals. Check it out, yo. Still do it for the love. Control the heat that I hold like the up glove. Used to watch your favorite artist tear the club up. Still ready to battle, baby, like what? Yo, keep the torch lit, remain passionate. Love it like I'm watching you on TV Raps, kid. A music box and Ralph and D. Same time as Rap City, I'm flipping the channels. I used to rush home, can't miss a vid. And love it, do the dance, that was the itch. Culture raised me when life was crazy. Crack rock 80s, we latchkey babies. Hot top fades, break on waves. But eat apple bomb, try to lay on babes. The new era's depth, some cats is raw, but some of y'all act like you don't love it no more. Y'all still do it for the love. Oh, hey, yo, that's our part. If you in here, I'll point at y'all, need you to go like this. Let me hear you. Oh, hey, yo, to the grid shut down, we on the floor. Everybody in the spot. I'll bluff, still want some favorite artists here to club up. Still ready to battle, baby, like what? Before I went to the dance, practice moves in the mirror. Shape, play, kick step, not a single misstep. Clean as a piss test, get fresh as fashion. Fubu low wear cannot be the fabric. Soul boy magic, tap the rat. Watch it all disappear, now it's all in my hat. David swap his field, mommy copping fears. I just paid for the movie. We'll get to it, yo, chill. Favorite rappers, yo, they on the screen. Who the man who Jack City House Party 3? Disorder these Fresh Prince, Latifah finessed it. LA in the house of Cineo, cause rep it. Jet with the essence, but left us the blessings. Purple Heart Party, yeah, we all on the guest list. Life is short, attention says water. Mac to mix y'all up and hit y'all with the water. You know what? We doing for the love. Here we go, y'all. Still doing for the love. And it's cold like the love. Still watch my favorite artists tear the club up. Still ready to battle, baby, like what? Still doing for the love. Every eye outside to let me know. Everybody one more time. Yeah, different quiet. That's why everybody gotta go to choir practice, so you know what parts to do. However, we make it happen. We do it for the love. Shout out to For the Record. Shout out to the Gumbo Show. Shout out to Ash. Shout out to La. Shout out to Ali on the can. And we do it for the love. Microdose out now, man. Off the record. Let's go. For the record. For the record.
Gumbo Radio. Yo, y'all know what it is, man. It's your boy Nigel. I'm here with HeadKrack. We are live at the Record Loft, man. It's the Gumbo Show. Y'all know what it is. Got Ash, the Queen Pen, or the media Queen Pen, as I should say. Ali behind these lenses, and we also got Mohawk on the ones and twos, who's not here right now, but neither here nor there. HeadKrack had picked out 3 classics, vinyls, I should say, while he went to the store. So we're gonna go ahead and discuss them here.
All right.
First one we got is Blackbird.
Yo, so this is a bop, man, because I don't know how deep you go into jazz.
Okay.
But when I was growing up, my dad collected records, and this is one of the records he had. And because, you know, I don't know why we're like this, but the fact that they had guns on the cover of their album cover, I was intrigued, right?
Right.
And granted, I'm 5.
Okay.
But,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But a New York 5 is 12.
That's a New York minute for you. Yeah, I
so,
got you. Okay.
Yeah, it's something about the smoke that comes out of the sewers. I think it ages us mentally and makes us like things we shouldn't. However, when I got a chance to listen to the record, there was a song on here called Rock Creek Park that eventually got sampled by Eric B. and Rakim on a song called Doing It With the R.
Okay.
That boom, where the real ones know.
Yeah,
And
okay.
so when I was putting together my project Microdose, the original version of a song called Rise that I have on there had a mashup at the end of Bob James' Pure Imagination and Rock Creek Park.
That's dope.
But I had my producer D Cross, shout out to him. He still kept the energy of the original Blackbird sample, but like flipped it and did his own thing. And it all started from this record. And this record has such an impact on me growing up that I knew I wanted to do something with it at some point in life. And the opportunity came on Microdose. So boom.
That's hard right there.
Also shout out to Kwame, who also sampled this on his second album. The not the Boy Genius, but the one with Only You on it. It was called A Day in a Life.
Day in a Life.
Do it, yeah. Come on, do it. They sampled a real obscure part from this record.
Nah,
I hope I didn't blow them up.
Nah, you.
It's like, yo, we didn't clear the sample. We didn't clear the sample. Ah, man. But yo, I think he did.
Don't jump out. That's hard right there. I like that because jazz. That's actually deep. With me, it's just Kenny G, Miles Davis, you know, Nigel. So a lot of people think Najee when they think that type, you know. So this, I just learned the gem from because you just went even more deeper with the jazz than what I'm used to when I heard in my household. So that's dope right there.
And the break dances go crazy over that Rock Peak Brock. Yo, when everything go full and the drums come in, oh man, they gonna be going crazy to this, man. Spinning on their head the whole nine. And also, fun fact, Unfinished Business was the name of EPMD's second album.
Yes, very true. Very, very true. Yeah, I like that right there. That's why I was looking at the Unfinished. I said, I see the correlation with it.
How old do you think these guys are in this picture?
He's looking like he's in his 30s.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about like the 80s and the 70s.
They're probably in their teens.
Big facts. Like, yo, when I found out that James Evans was like 5 years older than JJ, I'm like, God damn, how stressed out were you, son?
No, seriously, bro. No, seriously. I like that one, yeah.
These guys were all in high school.
No, fun fact, by the way, yeah, you know, so yeah, that's this evolution is something else, I should say. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
No, it is. So next one we got here is Joe Jackson.
Yeah, this
Night and Day. Now, I before you even go into it, this is real.
This is real.
Okay, now I know Joe did his thing, you know what I mean? And we all know the story with Joe and how he give it up with Mike, but...
Yo, here's the crazy part, brother. That's not even the same Joe Jackson.
Oh!
That is not Mike's dad.
This ain't Mike's dad? See?
No.
I thought it was.
This white Joe. Yeah. This white Joe Jackson. So let me tell you a story. The gentleman who worked here actually put me on the game that Joe Jackson actually started off as a rock artist, and this was his first foray into jazz. Now, because I'm 107 years old, I remember a time where HBO used to show music videos in between the movies, and the video that they used to show off of this was a joint called Steppin' Out. And me and you, babe, stepping out into the light. Yo, karaoke nights?
Yeah.
I'm the only one singing that song. But he is such a masterful musician. And that song has always just held a near and dear space in my heart because it just reminds me of times where everybody was still alive, and you know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't have to worry about nothing, and it's just, there's just something about the sonics on this on that song. And when you go to some of the other records on here, there's a song on there called "Breaking Us in Two." I think that was on the Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion soundtrack too. He had bops, but he one of them people where like they didn't really show what he looked like a lot because.
There's only one Joe Jackson.
He looked like he lived by power lines. but
there's only one Joe Jackson.
That too.
There's white Joe. There's only one Joe Jackson.
Yeah, like I think he might have sold more records if they thought he was the person that beat Mike. But oh no, that's not that Joe Jackson. Like so. But this is a good album. If you ever see it or you come across the name Joe Jackson stepping out, breaking us in two. He also got another record I like called Invisible Man. It's really dope.
That's dope right there. Yeah. Okay, man. Nah, that definitely put me on some game right there.
That's crazy. That. It's like when people found out the person that sang, who he just died recently, Bobby Caldwell, What You Won't Do for Love. Like when they found out he was white, they had the barbecue plate ready for him. And it was seriously? It's like, what?
Google, man,
that's Bob.
It's Bob right there. This one.
Yo.
Hey,
do the Humpty Hump. Yo.
Okay, love R.I.P. to Shock G for sure.
No doubt.
R.I.P. to Pac for sure.
Yes, sir.
I was looking at a show on A&E. I think it was, I think it's called Hip Hop something. I forgot. Buddy went around and was collecting.
I feel like Cypher Sounds was involved with that.
He was, and yes.
My man Van Silk and Pete Nice from the Hip Hop Museum.
Yes. Thank you very much, HeadKrack, for
I'm a nerd.
No,
These glasses ain't just for display purposes. There ain't no medicine in them, but I'm a nerd. The details.
No, for real. I'm a delayed nerd. It's just not here yet, but it's crazy. Okay, so he had the head when he was on his tour.
Okay.
Shock G, and he said he used to come out. He had this 50-foot head that they ended up keeping in storage in a warehouse, and basically it was an artifact. The person that was in control of his estate gave it to them.
That's dope.
On the show to do it. And I was just sitting there thinking of the time. I was like, yo, in the 90s, he got this 50-foot head. I was like, how did they get this on a tour, on a trailer? And then I just went into a whole rabbit hole.
I think about weird things like that too.
No, for real.
Yo,
he had money like that?
What's the sustainability? Nah, but there was a pocket in time where people were spending all their money just to make the tour look dope.
Nah, for real.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And especially back then, you touring with other people, so you want to stand out. And for people who don't understand how competitive the 90s were, you're competing against Cypress Hill, De La Soul, Tribe Called Quest, Public Enemy still had some gas in the tank, before they had a resurgence in the late 90s. So you had to do things that really stood out. And one thing I loved about Digital Underground as a group is the level of world building that they did. And if you were there for this, you were under the impression that Shock G and Humpty Hump were two different people.
True.
And they did such a great job of selling that narrative to the point that where they literally hired a person just to stand in the background and look like whoever they needed to look like while the other person would do the talking.
Yeah.
And it was just a brilliant thing.
It was.
And
way before its time.
And when you dive into the album Sex Packets, right? Have you heard that album?
Yes.
Yo, did you think they were real?
I was a kid, so yes.
Me too.
Yeah. No.
I'm like, yo, where can I get some? I'm 11, but so what?
No, seriously. I saving up my money this is. This was something you thought was able to just
Yeah, they sell, and also they had a song on there called Gutfest '89.
Yeah.
There was no internet, right? So I'm
seriously.
When is Gutfest '90? And what is the age parameters for people getting in? Because I was 11 with a mustache.
Right.
So I was like, yo,
you could have got away
with it. Put me in the game, coach, shout steroids and food, right? And but they did such a great job of making you believe everything that was in their world, and it was creative the entire time, and then you later find out my man was doing drugs.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you master your high, you balance it out, and you get back to it, and sometimes it gets the best of you, but to celebrate the genius that was Shock G, aka Humpty Hump, and the whole Digital Underground collective is a beautiful thing. And also big shout to Money B, who's keeping the torch lit.
Yes.
They got a site called DU merch that you can go and buy, like, you know,
Okay.
like dope digital underground
Okay.
merchandise. Shout
That's
out to Young Hump, who actually shot G, like, blessed and said you could now wear the nose and go out and be retro Humpty Hump. And he got bars too. They both got bars, man.
No,
So
that's
shout out
dope.
to Digital Underground, man.
I'm glad you said that. I didn't even know. I saw him in the interview, and for a split second, I thought this was like his son, because he had the nose and he did the whole, and I'm like, oh, that's nice, it's his son. It's like, no, he just anointed him.
Yeah, he got the job. And he dope, though. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it works, man. So shout out.
It do. Yeah, it definitely works. Yeah.
Yo, and they used to run this video all the time. You remember, like, before you heard the dirty version, you would fill in your own part where the bleeps go?
Yeah,
Because I was like, I once got
took a-
busy in the... And when they bleeped it, I was like, motherfucking bathroom? Once got busy in the motherfucking bathroom. And then when you found out it was Burger King,
Yeah,
it
I was like, why would they?
That was anticlimactic. You could have not bleeped that.
I'm a Burger King kid coming up, man.
They had better regular burgers than everybody else.
No, for real. That's no, those are good 3 records right there. HeadKrack.
Thank you, man.
Definitely love the gems and the energy. And,
Shout to White Joe.
No, shout to White Joe for sure. That was definitely, you learn something new every day. Yo, definitely learn something new every day. I thought it was only one Joe. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely shout out to White Joe.
It's DEI Joe.
And also, you know,
Blackbirds.
the Blackbirds. Yes. So man,
Old-faced teenagers.
no, you definitely got the ear for the sounds, and no, I hear them, but again, a delayed nerve, because you're on point. Like, oh, that came from such and such, and I'm trying, but like, I know where it's come from, but I just can't.
It's moments like this where I realize, yeah, I'm probably autistic. Because the things I latch to, and the way I latch on to things, is like, yeah, like I gotta go to a doctor.
Okay, yeah, I feel that. Last question: How would you like to be remembered?
I would like to be remembered as a person who created opportunities for mad people, or like touched your life in some way or another. Some people come here to like try to like collect as many cars, girls, sleep with as many Kardashians as they can. Sure, if that's your mission in life, more power to you. But for me, man, I want to be able to say that people say that, yo, HeadKrack was there for me at a moment in time where I needed him to be there for me. The same way a lot of these records and these songs and these artists were there for me when I needed to pick me up in the morning, or like, man, I hate the school I go to, or like, yo, my mom's locked up, man. You know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, music was there for me, and I want to be there for people in that same way that music was always there for me. So I want to be remembered as being there, being present, and being a being.
A being.
Being a being.
Being a being.
Or beam, depending on how the closed caption does that. Because I could be a being, but I also could be a beam, because a beam is light. So
I like how you thinking already.
it's up to you, AI. Because sometimes I'll be watching the closed caption back, like, that's not what I said. It's not what I said.
Beam or beam. B-E-I-N-G, but it says beam, you know.
And in some country, it might be B-E-A-N.
Yeah.
This dude's a beat, he's food, he's sustenance. He's there to feed us.
I love it, man. HeadKrack, thank you for coming.
Yo,
to the
thank you
Record
for
Loft,
having me,
brother.
man. Yo, this
No,
is a
thank you
vibe.
for sure,
And yo,
sure.
they got so many gems up here at the Vinyl Loft. Y'all need to pull up on here and support. Record Loft, I'm
Yes,
sorry. You know,
yes.
if you're from England, you would say vinyl.
Yeah.
They got so many gems up here at the Record Loft, man. Come over here and pick up some of these treasures, all right?
No, definitely. And if you want to be a part of this show at the Record Loft, y'all can go on the Gumbo Show IG. We're in the bio, and you just go ahead and fill out the form, and we'll get back. Tell a friend. You know where we at, 746 Moreland. It's the Gumbo Show. It's HeadKrack. It's your boy Naja. We got Ash, the media queen pin. We signing off.